That new.
We got that new.
You're sporting it.
We got that new.
What's up, boys?
And how many of you guys out there saw this? Should we go to side cam on this thing?
Sexy side cam.
We may have a little quick.
What the hell?
Our side cam is always down. That's what happens when you have the ghetto studio here. We have our side cam like duct taped to the tripod.
Hey, little secret. How much longer are we going to have the ghetto studio?
Shh. We're potentially moving, guys, the studio.
No, we're not potentially. We are moving.
Things could change.
Oh, shit.
Okay,
side cam.
Wow, look at that.
Oh, there he is.
Oh,
Oh.
He came in.
My ears were
What's
ringing.
up? There
We
you
were
go.
just showing your picture.
I was sleeping in my truck.
Showing your mugshot.
You were sleeping. But yeah, we have a little special guest. So he's going to jump in here and talk a little bit about salmon trout steelhead here in a couple minutes. Potentially give you guys a little discount, maybe. We'll see.
It's happened before.
You have to be good first.
Right. It's true.
We got.
What's going on, guys?
Okay, you guys know the drill. We're going to get a little giveaway going, and this is a good opportunity to just give away some of this new stuff that JT just sent us. Because there is some salmon showing up soon, huh?
The first one was caught. Everyone may be out there springer fishing.
Yep.
Go get them, guys.
A
Everyone
springer got
get 'em.
caught. Everyone go catch him.
I already talked to a guy on the river yesterday who was like, I was down there the day before and I almost didn't come down here today. I should have been out there and they got 3 today. And I'm like,
What?
that's what I'm saying. It's already starting.
You
No, I'm sad. I'm sad though because it happened so fast. Like this year, like that's like the earliest one that I've seen. And what sucks is like usually you get like that week of just like nonstop rumors. Guys like passing around old pictures. Like it just turns.
There was
into a
no
thing
rumor. The dude
until
walked right
somebody
into fisherman's.
Exactly. He
$100
walked in at 17 pounds on the scale. Game over.
Yep.
Like oh.
Yep.
Well, nobody used to say anything until they started offering $100 for the first one.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that was the case too. So you hear the.
Because iFish has always done that.
Yeah, iFish has done it forever with the newspaper.
That's super cool.
Anyway, so with that, JT from Short West Flashers, as you guys know, he's one of our partners. He is launching some brand new colors this year. He has some fire stuff. I'm super excited about these UV chromes. I know Cam loves UV.
I would fish this. I'm gonna fish the snot out of this one.
Oh, it
I ain't
looks
gonna
so
lie.
good. Go to side cam, Clint.
It's just got. It's just got.
What? Oh yeah, Clint.
It's got that look. It's got that look where it like disappears and then flashes and then disappears.
Look at
and then
that.
flashes. You know what
That
I
is
mean?
I mean, I'm a fan of chrome. I'll fish the snot on that one.
That one looks damn sexy, and he makes it in the 362.
Guys. So we're just. It's not a coincidence that we're bringing in the Springer flashers when we're talking the first one caught. So
Exactly. And then, so what we're gonna do, guys? If you guys want an opportunity, we're gonna give away. We're gonna give away one of these flashers, and then we're also gonna give away one of these spinners here.
It's a cool color.
Side.
I don't know. I can't get over that. That is going to be.
That's a good one.
That's gonna murder some fish.
That's going
for
to do
sure.
it. Boom. Got some new spinners here.
Some new spinner colors. What's the name
This
of
one's
it?
called Special. 38 Special.
Apple Crunch.
Apple Crunch and
Ooh.
38 Special.
38 Special and Apple Crunch. So I think, guys, I'm not 100% sure, but I think you guys can get these on JT's website. So just head over to Short Bus Flasher, go over to his website, and buy some of this new
There's gonna
stuff.
be a lot of flash with that. That's going to look really good.
That's going to kill fish.
That's going to kill fish.
This one's not new though, right?
The back,
That's new.
The back side's
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a new pattern. He's got some.
Gotcha. Because I was gonna say I caught some on that one.
Well, and also he's at, I don't know if there's red. He didn't have the red stuff
and the
on his
back
other ones.
side. A little
Oh,
orange action there.
Wow.
That's going to have a lot of cool contrast. Like when it's, look.
Apple
That's exactly what it's going to
Crunch.
look like when it's. No, I'm just kidding.
What's that?
It's terrible.
Apple Crunch.
Apple Crunch.
So huge
Happy
shout out
birthday.
to JT from Short West
Yeah,
Flashers.
JT, thank you for the flashers because I'm going to definitely be taking these home.
Okay, if you guys want an opportunity to win one of those, we're going to give
Wait,
away one
no.
flasher and give away one spinner.
No.
Do us a huge favor, hit the thumbs up on the video, share it out to all your family and friends, and then drop a comment below. Let us know where you're tuning in from tonight. We'd like to see all the cool places you guys are tuning in from. It's crazy. Every week it's starting to be more and more people from just all over the country and some people out of the country. It's really cool.
I like the South America.
Yeah.
the South Africa guys. Yeah.
And we got
Pretty
some
cool.
super chats coming in. I think we missed a couple of them. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. We appreciate it. Clint, you want to scroll back up and find a couple of those? I think there was a couple questions on a few of them that we might have missed.
You say super chat?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are those flashes called?
They're called really cool.
They're called Not For You.
They're called I'm going to use the snot out of them.
Did you open all of them?
I opened one of each so I could show it in the camera. Relax. There's the ones to give away.
Why are
The open ones.
Why are you guys not saying?
The open
Cam
ones.
doesn't want to say the name of them. These flashers are called panty droppers. And these are going to drop those salmon's panties and they're going to come bite your hook. So we got a super chat here from Kellen
He's texting JT
Murphy.
right
He says, "What's up, addicts? What's the best way for me to
You
help
won't forget the
grow
name, that's for sure.
Steelhead in
Genius marketing.
what's that? Growth of Steelhead in CA? How did you
California.
become so involved and knowledgeable about salmon steelhead
What?
programs in your area? How can I help?" Cam, that's a question for you.
Get involved with conservation groups wherever they may be. Do some research. Ask your friends. Go to meetings. Just get involved. Like, that's the key, man. You know,
Promote hatchery fish.
Promote hatchery fish. Promote broodstock fish. Promote the programs that actually freaking work, and stop with the feel-good politicking, because at the end of the day, it doesn't get anybody anywhere, and it just puts more attention on wild fish. Stupid.
We got Father and Son
Thank you for the
Outdoors. Yeah, thank you for the super chat, man. We appreciate it. Father and Son Outdoors. Happy birthday to your son, man.
Yes.
Hopefully he's out there catching some fish on his birthday today.
It's my son Bo's 7th birthday, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Bo. Thank you
What's
for
up?
the super chat.
Thank
We
you,
appreciate
guys.
that. Danny for the super chat. Thank you, man. I think that's all of them, Clint. And we got a bunch of people commenting, telling us where they're tuning in from. So why don't you pick a winner, Clint? We're going to give away a short bus panty dropper triangle flasher and a apple crunch spinner. The perfect Springer combo. And then here's what we're going to do. Whoever wins this, if they go out and catch a Springer on it, I'm going to give you a $50 gift card.
Oh, that's
You got to send me a picture. Who's the winner, Clint?
I'm gonna sign that flasher though, so it's got to be that one.
Yep,
Let's see it.
exactly. Perfect.
Then we know. Everyone's just gonna run out there and buy them all.
There you go. Walt.
Oh, Walt Mark Spanks. That's awesome. He's going to catch one on it.
Walt.
Is he gonna do it? Is
Yeah,
he
he
gonna
will.
give it help?
Yeah, he will.
Walt Marshbanks in North Portland. You just won yourself a short bus flasher and a short bus spinner.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cam is signing that
We're
flasher.
gonna know.
Walt's a good
Yep.
buddy of
If
mine.
you go
That's
out
so
there,
cool.
catch
That's
a
funny.
salmon on that flasher with this spinner and that flasher, you're gonna get a $50 gift card.
Oh, that's awesome.
Boom.
Way to go, Walt.
So Walt, shoot us an email to orders@addicted.fishing.
We're gonna
Make sure you
play
include
games here
your
now.
name,
That's
It's
cool.
fun.
your address,
It's like the first
and
time
let us know
somebody
you won the
won.
flashers.
Heck yeah.
Alrighty.
Oh, God.
Wow.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Wow. Way to go, bud.
This is why we need a new studio with locks on it. Oh man.
All
What are we
right.
what are we talking about tonight before we bring our guests in? Just so people know. I mean, we're kind of. I know what we're talking about.
We're going to talk about wild steelhead. We're going to talk a little bit about some tactics. You know, that not much changes. You know, as we always like to say, there ain't nothing. There's no difference between a wild and a hatchery steelhead other than that one has a fin and one doesn't. No? What do you think?
Close. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes the hatcheries don't clip them well.
Exactly.
So you
that
don't
was my point. That was my point.
Talk about some handling stuff, and you know,
I caught a lot of hatchery
are-
fish that fought just the same.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's had that.
I've caught a
One
lot of
hatchery
hatchery
fish
fish
and one
with
wild-
an adipose fit on them, too.
Yeah, not too long ago, we just caught a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Anyway, so we're going to talk a little about wild fish, but we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of wild fish, you know, practicing safe handling. We're going to talk a little bit about how to handle them, things not to do. We're going to talk a little bit about tactics and how we, you know, there's some certain things that I do. I change up just because I'm targeting like bigger fish. And
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about like where to find them too, and you know, and for the most part, you know, in the Northwest area, like we're just now really getting into wild
Yep.
season. I mean, there's probably been a bunch caught. I get it, like caught them too, but we're just now kind of getting into the.
yeah, these next kind of 3.5, 4 months in
Yeah.
some areas is kind of the best
Go
time to get out and catch wild steelhead.
Yeah, for
It's a lot of
instance,
fun.
Today, we got 4 fish. 3 of them were just nickel chrome wilds, and one of them was a kelted hatchery fish. Already spawned.
Already spawned.
You know what I mean? So you're right. It's finally got to that point where we're rolling over that threshold where a lot of the hatchery fish are going to be old. or non-existent, and some of those wild rivers, especially that don't have anything as far as hatchery is concerned, they're going to start to see those fish start to trickle in by the day too. It's fun how it works like that.
Yeah, no, Gabriel, it's all good, dude. We saw that hoodie. Good job on making that, dude. That's sweet. I don't have an issue with it. I don't know why 50 people tagged me. I know you're not selling them. It's all good, dude. Appreciate the support.
No, it's awesome. We have people like tattoo the Addicted logo on their arms and stuff like that. We don't go seeking royalties or anything like that.
$20.
No, that kick ass.
I sued everyone.
Yeah.
$20.
No, dude, it's awesome.
Yeah. Cam, these guys were saying that they played a joke on people. Was it you? Every time someone would ask you Jordan for his picture, he would say $20. Just to like see what the reaction was, just to joke around with them. Obviously, it's hilarious.
Nobody's really falling for it.
No.
They're like,
So yeah, we're gonna talk wild steelhead.
Yeah.
What about updates? Anything going on? You guys, what's your guiding season looking like? You guys are all filled up for springers, steelhead.
Yep.
Steel and Springer's full, at least for the Columbia seasons, and the rest of the seal season.
So if you guys are trying to go books, I know. The
But-
reason I'm bringing this up is because I know a ton of you guys are messaging me, asking me to like, can you please get Jordan to reply to my messages or whatever. These guys are so backed up right now.
I was just sleeping in my truck.
And I think part of the problem is too, guys, is they're fishing every single day, and so give them a little slack.
Yeah. But for those of you who, if you have reached out to either of us, I still haven't started really booking my Springer trips yet, just because I don't know what this guy here is going to throw on my plate as far as scheduling. So I'm kind of waiting. But all of you that have messaged me, I will be getting back to you and letting you know some Springer and some summer steelhead dates, which will be starting like mid-May. So
yeah.
But all of us at this point in time are as full as we can be for winter steelhead. So
yeah.
Definitely.
And I was just trying to make it a point because I know I've seen a ton of you guys like in the comments saying that they're not getting responses.
I can admit I've been terrible. I
I do
apologize.
have a couple guys though that I would send folks to.
Yeah, that's the other
So,
thing. So
It's
Jordan
not the
and
worst.
Cam are
It's not
both
they're
really well connected, and so if you want to go out with a different guide or get out fishing just for steelhead, these guys are the ones that you can talk to, and then they can get you set up with someone who will go out and have a good time.
Yes, sir.
So,
That aren't.
and then you're like I
they're
said,
not
you're
jerks.
there'll still be opportunities to get out with Jordan and Cam. Just
Yep.
I feel like sometimes you know what you need to do is say, hey, I want to book for 2022.
Yep.
I've already got probably 7 days on the books for 2022 Buoy 10 already.
Yeah,
Obviously, we don't know what it is, but let them reserve the day.
yeah.
Yep.
Now, it never hurts to be early. If fishing sucks, we just won't go. But get the date.
Yep. Always
Cool.
try to be about a month and a half in advance.
Oh,
So none
sorry.
of these guys are ignoring
Sorry,
you.
Mike
they
said
love
we
you.
can't
They
fish
want you to
though,
go
so
fishing with them.
darn it.
They will get back to you
Because
as
we
soon
can't
as they
fish.
can. What?
It's just Mike says, you guys can't fish. Like, all right. Never mind.
Super chat from Michelle. Hey guys, what? My wife caught her first steelhead Sunday. You guys ever coming to the Tri-Cities?
Not for steelhead, but
Yeah, we do want to get out to the Tri-Cities. We had some plans to go out there for doing bashes and stuff, but then the COVID stuff kind of
every time
around,
I try to go out there walleye fishing, it's going to blow 40. So you don't want. I'm going to let everyone know when the next time I plan on going out there because it will blow 40, guaranteed. Like, just cancel your plans. Like, it's ridiculous.
216
So
fishing. I did get Little's caller. I appreciate it. It's still on my trailer. It's riding around getting a deep clean. So I was on the river the other day and somebody goes, "Did you lose Little's caller?"
Oh yeah, you told me that.
And I'm like, "Yeah, like a year and a half ago." And they're like, "Oh, we just found it downriver under a bridge the other day. We'll put it on your trailer for you." So thank you very much for grabbing that for me, and I cannot believe it was still there.
Cool.
What's that?
We're gonna give away another one of these things.
I
that
need one of those finally. I'm so out of jig heads.
Jordan can't
Especially
get
those red ones.
Jordan can't give one because I'm giving one away to you guys. So, as you guys know, we had these on our website. There is only, I think, 12 left. Yeah, there's 12 of these left on the website, guys. If you want to get them,
You
we
guys-
sold.
I got to thank you very
A
much
metric
because you
ass
guys have
ton of
all
them.
made Mike's job a living hell last week.
For the last
And
month.
listening, well, just the last week with the kits, with the addition of the kits going on to the store.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're talking hundreds and thousands of orders, guys. Like,
Yeah,
you
we
guys
appreciate the
killed it.
support. Thank you
12
so
left.
much.
12
And,
left.
I've been getting all your videos and pictures and stuff saying you guys are catching this. I saw a couple YouTube. Some people have already done YouTube like winter chrome kit challenges. There's 2 videos on YouTube where people took our chrome kits. They went out and caught a steelhead on the kit
They caught a fish
and
though?
filmed it. Yeah, 2 of them on YouTube.
Surprise.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So make sure you guys, if you guys get the kit, go out, post them, share your pictures. Let us know if you caught fish on them. We would love to be able to share those to our Instagram.
Is there a
stories
bobber
and
in
stuff.
there? There's 2.
Yep.
But there's 12 kits left. I guarantee they will be gone by the end of this live feed, so you better hurry.
But thank you for the support. We appreciate it. We're going to give one of these away to one of you guys tonight. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity. All you got to do is do a huge favor, hit the thumbs up, share this out to family and friends, and then drop a comment below and let us know if you are subscribed to Salmon, Trout, Steelheader Magazine or not. Drop a comment below. Let us know if any of you guys watching are subscribed to Salmon, Trout, Steelheader Magazine. We want to know just a yes or a no. And with that being said, we're going to bring our little guest in here, and they're going to talk to you about that. And if you're not subscribed, just turns out we're going to give you a sweet little opportunity to get a subscription. Come on in, dude.
There he is.
Hey, what's going on, Jordan?
Lucas Holmgren, everybody from
Yep.
STS.
Yep.
Longtime friend, Tony Amano. How you doing, brother, man?
Good.
Good.
Good to go. Yeah, look who we got on the magazine issue this month.
How did that happen?
It was good stuff. We got Jordan.
Was there
you
even
got that
liquor
side
involved?
cam. Actually, there wasn't.
Possibly.
So a trip actually last year, right before the whole COVID thing happened.
Was the last day.
Yeah, this was the last day. This picture, I actually took this of Jordan last day before all the craziness in Washington went down, and we couldn't fish for a while. Got that picture. Jordan is on this February, March, is it? Or what are we looking at?
Correct. Yeah.
February, March. So articles about wild winter steelhead fish and hatchery, winter steelhead fish, and a bunch of other good stuff.
There's a lot of cool articles in this one. The small stream steelhead fishing. I really do like the article that you wrote in here about landing the big fish, about different ways and different tactics. It's something that a lot of people talk about, catching big fish, but what they really leave out of context a lot of times, it's kind of like what we're talking about tonight, is the general fact of what you're supposed to do after you hook them.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part. There's certain rivers around, like my home river, I've never landed, a 20-pound fish because I've never been able to fight them in a place that I could. Every 20-pound fish that we've hooked, we've either gotten spooled or broken off, or couldn't manage and handle that fish, and a lot of it had to do with how we were fighting it.
Yep.
If we would have stayed calm and done like what you guys will have to go on to either the website or get this issue of STS to see exactly what Lucas talks about. But it's pretty neat how you describe that and how you kind of go over
on the river
the different
you're on,
tactics.
I know that those fish don't mind heading down a rapid once they're hooked.
No.
Other rivers,
Quickly.
that's not always the case. Sometimes they'll stay in the holes and stuff. But I could see how that would be. But yeah, it's just great information. Tony's been there. The magazine been out since 1967, and we've just appreciated all the support. We got a great picture of Jordan and Ashley there with a wild steelhead. Anyway, 50% off of subscriptions. There is a code on salmontroutsteelheader.com. 50% off. You can get this issue, the single issue, plus you could also get a year subscription. 50% off all that with code ADDICTED. And
It's not working.
yeah, thanks for having us over tonight. And
Almost.
you got it.
Couple super chats here. Want to see some more small stream content? There you go. Loving the STS classics you guys are uploading to YouTube. Thank you for the super chat, Spencer. And Eric Campbell, thanks for the super chat.
Yeah, thank you guys. And by the way, last time I was at a podcast here, I think Cameron and Marlon were talking about the idea of the STS podcast, and since then I've been doing it.
Yep.
Had some good people on. I want to do an interview with Marlon, and that's something we're going to be doing here pretty soon. But it's a lot of fun. So thanks for having us on tonight.
So wait, let me rewind a bit though, because I'm just standing here, just doing nothing. But the big fish thing. So the biggest steelhead I ever caught was from a small jet boat, and so I actually thought that it was a coho. It was a little late, like maybe a big wild coho, and I was able to chase it down, and I hopped out of the boat. And I was being so careful with it because I wanted to get a picture of my biggest fish ever, right? You got to have a picture, right? So I jump out of the boat, and I could have beached it. There was a little gravel beach there. Instead, I just stood in the shallow water, and I pick it up, and my friend's he's still in the boat, and we're just getting ready to take that picture, and it's a torpedo. It starts to wiggle, plop, and it swims off like a torpedo. And I never got a picture of it, but it's right here. I can tell you guys it was over 30 pounds.
Right.
Yep.
He remembers the little gravel bank and everything. Yeah. And the fog lifting off the water.
Yeah, exactly.
And the mermaid.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us tonight.
You're very welcome.
I'm digging into the stash of addicted worms, by the way.
Whoa, man, join the club. You're gonna get your butt chewed in the garage here, like normal. Yeah. My oldest daughter challenges Jordan to a fish off. Biggest steelhead.
Yeah, it's weird. You can't come into someone's garage and just take whatever you want.
Wins
That's
our.
like a weird constellation, right? Weird.
No, I didn't think that was wrong at all. I think you're right on with it.
Can we give away?
I'm not arguing with it.
Can we give away an STS subscription for someone here?
Yes, we definitely can.
Pick someone for me, Jordan, and thanks for having us on, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Go ahead and throw the randomizer up there, and we'll throw Lucas's. Throw the. What do you want him to? Where do you want him to contact you, Lucas?
Customer service at amatobooks.com.
Okay, perfect.
Repeat that, Donald.
Yeah, customer service at amatobooks.com. We got to pick a winner first.
We got to think of a question first.
Ooh.
What's it gonna be?
Have you ever bought a copy of STS?
Do it.
Have you guys, yes or no, ever bought a copy of Salmon Trout Steelheader?
We should give away that brown jacket, bud.
This one?
I think the first comment I read. Thanks, guys, for the code. Yes, use that code up, guys. Yes, sir.
There's a lot of valuable information in those
Yes.
magazines, and I think they're doing a good job at keeping a good balance of good articles, good pictures. Definitely worth the subscription.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I was going through and reading some of these this week when I was home, and just some of the in depth. And I think the most fun is when Nick and Lucas brought in the like the log. What was it? It was the book. It was like the big binders of all the old episodes, or excuse me, magazine. Well, I'm trying to think of the issues. Excuse me, issues. And yeah, dated clear back to like the early 70s, late 60s even, and going over the setups and the different information. And what I thought was the most interesting was the quality of English in the articles, like the way people wrote and the way people talked back in the 60s, and like the bar that was set for just writing in general, and like how to properly use the English language. Where today we just kind of throw stuff around and don't even think about it, thanks to texting and different things like we do.
We have autocorrect, so it's a point.
Exactly, but it was. Oh God! Throwing the heat.
I should have measure hooks on it. Yeah, Tracy, I like that. I like that arrangement. I'll just let them go steelheading. I'll go get the striper. That'd be fun. Thanks for the super chat. Let's pick a winner here real quick. Real quick, Clint.
Okay, here we go.
Come on.
Quick, Clint.
Boom. Oh. Johnny Del Villar. Nope, sorry, but will now. Well, you're right, you will now.
Yeah, it's got one
you got
coming
an email.
your way.
Okay, customer service at
Amato.
AMATO.
Amato Publishing.
No, Amato Books.
AmatoBooks.com.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
It's so awesome. Look at that.
Just a little one.
That was a cool fish.
Just a little one. It's like a little 15
That thing had
pounder.
charisma.
I didn't know you put
Good
that one in
personality.
there too.
Good personality.
That's killer, Lucas.
Yeah, that one looks awesome.
Ashley's fish?
Yeah, me holding Ashley's fish. She catches plenty that big. She doesn't need me to hold them.
Yes, Dean. Thanks, Cam, for the Springer invitation. A special treat for me. Thank you for the super chat. We'll make it happen. We're going to make it happen this year. I don't think we're going to get closed out for COVID. You guys mentioned that, it was the last day of, the COVID closure for Washington State. And, I mean, after all, it was really a reasonable decision brought to you by our managers, and it helps so much. And I was just so glad we were the only outlier of 50 states to close fishing completely. I mean, it's a really, really, really good move. So it's really
that was
cool
a
to hear that
into
context.
a great day because
It gave me a good excuse to go shed hunting.
we caught
Right.
like a
Well,
damn
it
near.
gave me a good excuse to do everything else in the state except for hold a fishing rod.
Yeah.
Go boating, go walking, take your dogs to the bike.
Home Depot.
Home Depot. Home Depot was lit. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop right now. Infinite wisdom.
How
Just
long will
follow.
STS run the addicted code?
Probably for a few days at least, I would say.
A few days,
Probably a
guys.
few days, guys. Yeah, jump on it soon, right away, tonight.
Yeah, go.
a heck of a deal.
Can't beat 50% off. So it sounds like just a few days, guys. So jump on it and get your subscriptions if you don't have one. And Clint, let's pick a winner for this box because we had just randomly select from the comments. There's been a lot of people interacting, so just randomly select someone here.
Yes, Joaquin. Maybe the vaccine will help. Kevin Gray, thanks for tuning in. I'm glad to hear it. Gravel Lizards. I love it.
There you go. Mike Kelly. Mike Kelly, you just won yourself an Addicted Winter Chrome Kit. Shoot us an email to orders@addicted.fishing. Make sure you include your name, your address. Let us know that you want a Winter Chrome Kit. And thank you to everyone that shares these live feeds out there and comments and drops super chats and all that. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, I like this super chat lady. Cameron, Jordan, Marlon, and Charles. What is the biggest wild steelhead you have landed? Go.
Ooh, not as big as you guys.
Go.
Probably about 19 pounds.
You caught a 20-pounder on the.
It was a
freaking-
hatchery. He said, "Wow."
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, it was fin clipped.
Wait, you mean you tell me you've caught a bigger hatchery than ever a wild?
Yeah.
What?
That's because the river he
That is
fishes,
impossible. That
when
does
you
not
hook-
work that way.
the river he fishes, when you hook a fish that big, you never land them.
That is true.
You don't land them on his river.
No
No,
boats.
I have been spooled a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't land them.
You don't fish like 40-pound and like.
He should, but he
30 pound.
doesn't.
Oh, I mean, I've been running down the bank for a mile and a half till I ran out of bank. You know.
To get around a boulder or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's one of the aspects when we're talking about targeting wild steelhead, and because of a study on the Idaho Fish and Game that really gets into the nitty gritty on fight times and flight times for conventional gear versus fly fishing gear, and actually the mortality is higher in the fly fishing gear because they're not fighting gear that's heavy enough. And one thing with targeting wild fish, one big thing you guys can do as anglers is actually fight them with some damn gear that can handle them.
Yeah.
You know, none of this 6-pound leader.
Yeah.
Stuff.
It's a 6-pound leader at a hatchery hole. Exactly.
That doesn't work. Marlon, what's your biggest wild?
I caught a 42-incher. 42-incher.
Monster.
Yeah, it was 42 by 22. And there was some like little halves and stuff in there too. I have it written down somewhere, but I don't know the exact. But it was 42. It was giant.
The beast.
That's so big.
It was giant, and it was so cool. It had on one side of him, he had a big sea lion gash down the whole side, and then the whole other side, he had some other like I don't know what they were. They were battle wounds from when he was little that had all healed. So his whole one of his side was like he had like made it through hell.
He was just a bruiser.
Oh yeah.
He was Big Mac Daddy.
And it was super cool because he already had he was already starting to color up a little bit, but his whole body was like covered in sea lice. So he had like come in, he just was ready, like just coming in to spawn late March.
Well, he probably done it a few times, knew the program.
Yeah, exactly. Come right in, get it done. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so.
Been here before, got the T-shirt, coming back.
Yep, exactly. It was a
He was walking up there.
special fish. Someday I'm gonna mount it. I'm gonna get a replica.
Is that the
of it.
picture that's in the? There's a wire hanging behind you. Is it that
No,
picture?
no. That fish was 40 inches.
Yeah.
That was a good one too, though.
That's killer.
That fish was That fish was 40 by 22. That fish was huge.
Monsters.
That's a cool picture with all the fog in the background. Lucas keeps trying to tell me to get him that picture. He's like, dude, I need a high res of that. I need to find it. I need to dig it up and find it somehow. What about you, Cam?
Not real fast. Not sure the code is working. It's the salmon steelhead code addicted. Is there any caps or any of that, Lucas, that need to be?
No, and it looks like it's working for a lot of people. Just addicted, and it's at checkout.
Yeah, so
Okay,
at the checkout code, it's just the word addicted, no caps or anything, just addicted.
And it only works for subscription to the magazine
Or this,
or the
yeah.
single issue.
It only works, guys, if you're buying this issue or you're signing up for a subscription. So if you're trying to buy a bunch of other stuff, you can't use the addicted. Well, it would just take it off the subscription, right? Like, what if they want to like $15 and then?
Oh, they could add stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so it should work. It should just
Yeah, a few
take
people,
this off. Yeah.
a bunch of people actually are saying it is working, worked for me, blah blah blah. So
Awesome.
Yeah, it's very good stuff. The biggest wild steelhead I caught in closed waters, in a closed area, at a closed time of year. I was actually working
With a treble hook.
No,
and a
not
black
treble,
corky.
but a beta
In the
eggs.
name of science.
But a beta eggs. I was actually working for the department at that time, and we were doing wild steelhead genetic collection. And so I call it's by far my biggest steelhead because it was somewhere in the realm over 47 inches. It was absolutely huge. I fought it for about 30 seconds. And where we were fishing and what we were doing is I was basically casting. This was back before cell phone cameras, but we did get a Polaroid of it.
Sounds like he's.
I didn't even have tough line. We were using 30-pound mono.
What are you, 75 years old?
I'm 40. I'm
At
40.
heart.
Okay.
To light like gunpowder and make it fly.
You want to hear the story? I think it's funny, but basically, and we were fishing in a waterfall, and casted eggs with a 2-ounce lead into the waterfall, and we were hammering these steelhead. My buddy was down there netting it. I cast on the waterfall. Fish picks it up because there was like 1,000 of them in there, and I set the hook, and it came up, and it was just it knew it was hooked, but it wasn't. It didn't try to turn downstream or run. And it came up like this, doing the flop, and I pulled it into that ledge that sits down below. Lucas, you know the one I'm talking about, and my buddy was right there to net it, and he netted it, and it was absolutely ginormous. And we only took a length, and I took a little piece of his tail, and I stuck it in a vial, and we let him go. We took a picture of those two, and it was didn't even do a girth.
What was the length again?
It's 47.
What?
And that's like, and here's the thing. I bet I could have got 48 out of it because we didn't have an addicted landing crate. We had a big hoop net.
Yeah.
And it's in there, and we're just doing this, and so okay, fine. It was 46. Like, okay, whatever. It was totally.
It was 46, or it was like really quickly in a hoop net, like, oh, let's just get a tape. Oh yeah, it looks like 46. Flip it over when it was really like 40.
Okay, I can tell you this much. We got 47 off of it, but we could have got 48 probably if we were really late.
I just like giving
like
shit.
whatever, fine, whatever. But it was totally cheating.
It was a disgrace.
It was cheating. It was
Coming
totally-
soon,
I
the
keep
new
seeing people
Ridiculous
comment, Julie
Landing
Steelhead.
Legend series, 48 inches.
yeah, you better. Get on that. You're gonna need it. Because, whatever. It is a cool story, but I guess
He claims he's got a buddy that still has the picture, so I want to call him up. You got his number?
he's in Wyoming, but sure.
Give him a call. See if he's got.
Don't
My
work
buddy
there.
Bowman, he's not out there. Actually, a lot of the guys will know the laps from Battleground back then. He lives in Wyoming.
We're going to Wyoming.
I'll have to-
Dig to the height.
Bring the picture to the next live feed and prove it. He says.
I don't have to prove anything to you.
That's not me. That's these guys
I don't
asking.
care. Call him. Oh my god.
Yeah. See.
It
One
was a
dog.
big fish, but I don't think other than that one, other than the cheater, I know I've gotten a couple 42s, but I wasn't taking
Yeah.
girths back then.
Yeah, and
That wasn't like a big thing.
I have no question in my mind you've caught fish that big, and
Knowing where we grew up,
Yeah.
yeah,
there's
it
no
happened.
question in my mind.
But there you go.
Girth is everything, though.
It is. Yeah.
On a steelhead, you know, Lucas knows that. I think I was with Lucas one time. He caught it was a 38 by 22, wasn't it? 36 by 22, which technically with the length and girth calculators puts it over 20 pounds.
Well, I know, like if you have one that's like a 22-inch, or we had one that was a 21 and a half last year, and I was dinking around and I put it in as a 20 and a half too, and it took off like 6 pounds.
Oh
It
yeah,
was like,
it's,
whoa.
the
So
girth
that,
is.
so that girth measurement is.
He says
It's
pause.
everything.
He says pause. Perfect. I love it.
He says what?
No cap.
Huh?
You don't get it. You're too old.
Oh.
You don't get pause. You know what that is?
I don't get it either.
What? How old are you guys?
2 years older than you.
Like if you say something that's like potentially could mean something else, you say pause. So we're sitting here talking about girth. So he's like pause.
God.
I always want to say there's a joke in there somewhere, but we're leaving it alone. Oh my gosh. That's sus.
Look now, see
Way to
now
go,
all these
Sam.
guys are
Good
spitting no
job.
cap.
Here we
Yep,
go.
stop
Here
the
we
cap.
go.
I
Hella.
love it. I love it.
That's cap.
All right, man.
Oh boy.
I need to
Phrasing. There you go.
Oh, girth is all that matters. I don't call him tuna can handy for nothing.
No. What do you got there? Looking at the measurements.
Yeah, I wanted to see how big a 47 incher would be. So these are 42. Let me get a measuring tape here.
It's right there.
Yep.
Come on, put it out there.
Dude, that thing was.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I remember holding it.
I wish you guys could see it, but you can't really see it.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, it was like. It was.
Here, hold this up, Jordan.
What are you trying to have? What are you trying to do here? I'm so confused.
I just want to show how big a 47-inch steelhead is.
Yeah. And here's something to remember.
This to give you perspective. The net is 42 inches.
And here's something to
That's
remember too, though.
huge.
But here's something to remember
That's
too.
so
That river also holds, because you want to bring it up.
No.
That river also
No.
holds the state records for the winter and summer fish of the whole state of Washington. So there you go. Well, because you ain't gonna go fishing there again, I guarantee that, because it's closed waters, bud. So go get them.
Yeah. In the one spot you fished.
No, actually, it was in April too.
See, and that's the thing. Like, I truly believe a lot of our rivers in Southwest Washington close on March 15th. So us as anglers in the Southwest Washington area, we don't even get a fish on the wild fish that really show up.
To put something into perspective, we would go out on this project and we would go with these 10 by 10 vial containers.
Uh-huh.
And you'd have 100 samples. And me and two guys would go out and we would collect one of those 10 by 10 vials and one sitting in a few of the local rivers around here. Because it's amazing what you can do to a wild steelhead when it's kicked up. It's got nothing to do and nowhere to go.
Yep.
Pretty crazy. And you know what was also funny? On those days, you'd catch those fish and then you'd bring another one in and then you'd look and you'd already have gotten his tail sample. Like they would bite over and over and over again in the same day. So like, weird. But apparently we kill 12% of them. Don't get me started. Super chat. Notice how we read this very slowly.
Heritage, we got you pinned now, dude. He says, good evening, my fine gents. Thanks for another great show. Appreciate you tuning in, buddy. Appreciate you tuning in. He almost got me, though. I read it twice in my head before.
I was going to say, we all read it really carefully now.
He says, ha ha.
So
talk a little bit about do you change up your tactics much when you're out fishing?
Well, let's talk about that just real fast, because I mean, we're going into wild season. I mean, yes, wild's been caught probably since December. That there's some rivers that get them earlier, get them later, get a bunch of them, so they see a bunch of early fish. Generally, it's the rivers that have really good broodstock programs. Coincidence or not. Also, some of our friends, the tribes that love planting good, healthy genetic fish that seem to just get a freaking ton of them before anybody else does. But for the most part, for everybody else, we're in the wild.
Wait, speak on that really quick, though.
What?
It's interesting because you just said, like, they get them before anyone else does. And I see that as, like, a common theme. Like, that river every year for as long as I can remember is always the first river that I see 10 pictures on, videos on. I mean, it's always the place that gets the most attention. So right around basically Christmas time through 2 weeks into New Year's.
And it gets the most attention because first things first, like if we really want to talk about it, because the first guy that posts the pictures with a bunch of freaking fish with adipose fins and they're dead on the bank,
we instantly know.
Everybody in the freaking in the world knows exactly where they're at, but then we get blamed for it. But regardless, everybody knows. Okay, so let's just take it. But yeah, they get.
But it's also a sad state of affair because they get fish where no one else is. It's struggle to catch one.
Those fish go to a different ocean.
No, they don't.
That's a lie. They don't. No, at the end of the day, you get something called the sand pile effect. Now, I think that program may try to push for earlier returning fish and may choose to breed fish that return early, and it's actually something that's trying to be mimicked in a lot of the other broodstock programs and hatchery programs right now, because they know if they get those early spawning fish, those fish are really important.
Why don't we just go grab 10 or 12 of them and bring them up here?
Well, then you're going out of basin genetics, and the state already did that, and that failed. So probably don't want to do that. But there are fish swimming in there. Okay, but it's called the sand pile effect. You got a little run, like let's say this is December, and then this is April. You have a little run that's going to show up in March, right? So you're going to see some earlier fish like around the peak of that run, and then the run goes away. If you have a bigger run, those fish will show up earlier in the year, and they call it sand pile effect. And rivers that are strong and are healthy and have good populations, good escapement numbers, you tend to see fish. A strong run shows early. And pretty much that speaks for salmon. That speaks for strong runs show early, and that's one of the things. And so that sand pile effect is huge. You have a good broodstock program, generally you're probably going to have a good sand pile effect. That's why those rivers are more productive.
It's why everyone
Early in the
goes
season.
there. I mean, it's one of those things
too.
like, I mean, I had never fished it for years, you know, but then you go and you experience it and you understand why there's so many people there. When we went the first time, we had to the guide made us get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and stand on the bank from 2:30 in the morning until daylight just to hold our spot. And by the time it got daylight, there was 30 guys this way and 30 guys that way. Yeah. We could have showed up there at 11 a.m. and it wouldn't have mattered because that's just the fact of the matter.
Well, but it goes to show, you know, last year in Washington State, I read somewhere, and I would love to quote it, but they basically got the number for the new license sales market. It's like there's 45,000.
Oh yeah, because of COVID. Yeah,
COVID. So now, and then you've
got more anglers.
And then you've got groups that are literally have paid staff employees to go around and try to figure out which hatchery run they can discredit, which ones they can get rid of now. Because to make them pretty much to make them feel good, and then when that occurs, everybody only goes fishing where there's fish, whether it be a wild stream.
No, and that's
whether
the thing.
Whether it be a broodstock program,
and we understand that because we're steelheaders, right? We've
been around a little while.
Well, we want to go find steelhead, so we're going to go to the place where there's steelhead.
And then on top of that, you've got the state making management decisions where they're closing rivers that are 3,500 fish over escapement in one region, and then in another region. They have rivers
barely
that
making escapement.
Barely making escapement, but you're allowed to fish from boats from there, and they don't think steelheaders are going to freaking drive. It's pretty amazing. But then at the end of the day, broodstock programs, early fish. If we had broodstock programs in a lot more different river basins, we would be catching wilds, and we would be catching some good harvest.
And you'd have anglers spread out.
We'd have anglers spread out, and we would be fishing weeks ago. Back when I was growing up on the river I lived, we started fishing Thanksgiving. If I didn't have 2 or 3 hatchery steelhead by October 31st, by Halloween, I was behind the 8 ball.
Yep.
I was nobody. Just driving around my Toyota when I was 17 years old.
Yep.
Right? And those days are just gone. So we have a close season. And then we used to have big hatchery outlet rivers that a lot of anglers went. You take those off, and guess what? Everyone's going to go and seek out the very few spots we have remaining.
Yep. That's why also when you start getting into wild season, you go places all the time where you see no one. Because the fact of the matter is, when the wild fish enter the rivers, they enter every freaking river all up and down our coast, everywhere.
It does
spreads
help.
people out.
And for the most part, guys, it's really easy. And I'll just lead you guys into a little information here. It's really easy to determine which rivers have decent wild populations because they're rivers that are open to steelhead angling in the regulation books, but they don't have hatchery plants.
Yep.
So you can divulge. Pick a couple rivers around your area, look at them, make sure the season's open, make sure none of the emergency regulations have changed. And once you do, go do that. See if they have a hatchery stock. If they don't, understand that it's a wild stock river, and that's probably just now getting, now and into the month of March and into the month of April, starting to get some fish.
Yeah.
So we are talking wilds tonight, and that's why we're here.
We were until we went off on that.
I was going to say, and that's why we're talking wild. So we
need
want
our
to talk a
comments,
lot
dude.
about.
We have to.
So
have
we
our
want to
comments.
talk a lot
We
about.
can't have them gone for that long. It's too hard.
Come on, Clint. Anyways, so we do want to talk a lot about wild handling because at the end of the day, there's not a lot of guys going out fishing hatchery fish. There's 45,000 new anglers in the state of Washington. A lot of those guys are showing up on your rivers. A lot of them are showing up their river. We want to make sure, and we do see some pictures that probably aren't the best, even though, like, basically Idaho Fish and Game came out in the year 2018, new sound science, basically said that removing the fish from the water didn't have any long-term adverse effects on steelhead mortality or population. And in other words, catching that fish, holding it out of the water real quick, putting it back, didn't like screw up the fish's ability to spawn later and then showed an adverse effect in the offspring or in like the subsequent years after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They basically have disproven all that in 2018. Current new sound science wild fish groups.
From a pretty reputable source.
From Idaho Fish and Game, not third party.
Yep.
So, but that does not for any second give us an excuse to not treat these fish with the utmost respect.
Nope.
Understand that these fish are honestly, they're our last like not hope, but they're our last fisheries. They really are.
Yeah.
And then if we don't take care of them, and we love to catch them, we love to be there, we love to do that, but if we don't give them every opportunity to continue to do what they do, we won't be doing that either. We will not be steelheading.
Yeah. And we as anglers, we need to set good examples, and so that's why when you talk about some of the pictures, it's super important. Don't drag the fish up on the bank. Don't drag him in the sand. Don't put your fingers in his gills. The biggest thing I hate seeing, and I see a lot of like really amazing, awesome guides that I respect a lot, they take these pictures, and I have held enough fish in my life to know that when a fish flops or does something, you're not holding on to it. That thing is dropping.
Well,
I don't care what you say.
Especially
a new person.
When the guy takes out the new client and they're holding steelhead in the sleds.
These guys will be standing in their sleds or in their drift boats holding the steelhead nowhere near the water, way the hell out of the boat. And I'm just and again, I don't care about the out of the water thing. It's fine. Take them out of the water for 10 seconds to take a picture and put them back in.
Where legally applicable.
Where legally applicable, exactly. But don't stand in your boat, because the second that fish flops, what happens if you drop it and it lands right on its head in your metal boat? Chances are its mortality rate just went pretty bad.
There's been... I don't even know if it's that, but here's the thing. It's not the fish's fault you caught him, right? So do everything you can to pretend that fish is made of glass. Really, pretend the fish is made of glass. Don't bring him up. There are studies, and we know with the broodstock programs that basically the mortality rates the state are giving these fish is absolute total bullshit, garbage. It's not even close. There's studies on salmon. There's studies on steelhead. We know it's absolute garbage what they apply to us. But when they see examples of poor handling, and they see, like I said, that kind of behavior, it's very easy for the people that want to advocate against us and advocate against our fisheries. It gives them all the ammo in the world.
I mean, I'll just say one thing right out the gate. If you don't have waders, you shouldn't be wild steelhead fishing. If you can't get in the water with the fish.
Well, or you at least should not be probably bringing the fish up onto the banks to take pictures or drag them.
Just let them loose.
If you have a knee boot and you can step out there and just pop the hook off at the bank, cool, you caught a fish, more power to you.
Yeah, if you don't want to take pictures, good for you. I know there's a lot of guys out there that do that.
And you don't have to take
I was going to say, those guys probably aren't even really involved in this conversation.
Yeah,
they know how they know how they handle them. They know how they work.
Right. And, but there's a lot of new anglers, though.
Yeah.
That, are going to be, they're going to be catching their first steelheads. They're going to be catching... they're going to be shaking their hands the first time with a wild fish, and they're going to want that picture, and we get it. But at the same time,
well, one thing I've mentioned, I think, on here a couple of times, is a big way to save these fish, and it's a small helpful tip. It's like as easy as mending or something like that. But if you are what you would say novice, and you're just starting, and this might be your first or second or third wild fish you've ever caught, when you go to take those pictures or something, have somebody take a video, not a picture. That way you don't need to have multiple tries at getting a shot. That way you don't need to drop that. You can grab that fish. You get that full effect of being able to share that video and then you can screenshot the actual still if you do get a good hold on the fish and you do get a good show. But if not, you still have something there. Because I get a lot of clients where they'll get the fishes in the net. I tell them, okay, you're going to drop it. But when you drop it, put it back in the net. And so immediately as I'm starting to say that, I'll switch to video and get a video, because a lot of times it goes, oops, gone. And that's what we'd all rather see, all of us.
Yep.
That's what I always say is, well, we all saw it.
Well,
we're all here.
We're talking about novice real quick, too. I wanted to back up, too, and say there was a time when we were kind of all in the same things. Like, I can look back at some of my original early pictures of me catching steelhead, and I can say that, wow, I made some horrible mistakes when I was handling steelhead. There was times. Now, I did my best to try to take care of them, but there was times I can specifically remember where I was by myself, and I took pictures I shouldn't have been taking. Like, I should have just let these fish go. And so I made those mistakes. And I don't want to see a lot of you guys out there making those same ones. So that's why we're trying to use the education around it.
The other part of that, too, is when that angler, and let's be honest, we've got a very big discussion board. We've got 100,000 people on our main page, over 70,000 on the discussion board. And when those new anglers post those pictures,
oh my gosh, they get hammered.
Here
Watch
come,
out.
Here
You're going to know when you're doing something wrong.
It's going to come down. Yeah. And so sometimes we're even forced to delete those pictures, even though it's awesome, you got one. And, odds are, well, actually, let me rephrase, not odds are. Basically, science says, let me rephrase that. Yeah, science says that those fish are going to do that well. you still like have like this outpouring of the guys that have fished for a long time that are going to come down on you. And so you don't want to be that guy.
Exactly. Well, and not even just that. It's for your own personal, like, well, you know,
Your own
when I go home at night, I want to know that the fish that I released and that I let go swam off and went and spawned.
Well, the big thing
You
of
know.
it too is you might just literally get a chance at catching that fish again someday.
Exactly.
The better care you take of it.
100%.
Look at for instance like Jack and Brandon Glass. They just caught. This doesn't only happen there, but again they just caught by safe handling and taking care of the fish. They caught and released a broodstock fish last year. You know, spawned at the hatchery. They caught the exact same fish this year.
Yeah.
Very next year in the same, probably really close to the same hole. They got 2 opportunities at that fish by handling and taking care and caring about that fish. And that goes for any small, especially if you're fishing a small stream. You know, up and down the coast, you fish stuff that you can damn near hop across. You're going to encounter those same fish again through time, whether it be the next year or 2 to 3 years after that.
Well, and that's been proven in these broodstock programs,
Yeah.
right, Cam? Like,
Oh yeah, 2 and 3 times. Caught, captured, brought to hatchery to spawn, put back in the water. I mean, it's
and then come back again.
it's
2
amazing.
years later, 3
It's
years later.
Yeah,
It's so
I mean,
cool.
and then on top of that too, though, you know, we listen to the, you know, and like I said, this is just the handling speech. We listen to some of our state managers explain that every single fish caught in certain river basins are getting caught like 1.5 times, which I think is total BS. But if they do believe that they've been caught 1.5 times, and that 12% of them die, somehow those numbers are going to roll up to where 1/5 and 1/6 of the run is going to be dying from sport handling, right? If you catch everything 1.5 times, there's a 12% chance of it dying. But yet you talk to guides that have guided on that said river basin
Their
for
whole
36
lives. Yeah.
years, and he can count on one hand how many dead steelhead he's seen in the water. But by their logic, there would be 600 to 800 of them dead in the water.
Be like salmon. You'd see them dead all the
I
time.
can say I've
Does not happen.
legitimately
It's
seen 2
bullshit.
or 3 dead in my career on the bottom, unfortunately. And the only ones I ever see dead in the river had their tails chopped off and got thrown off a bridge by hatchery workers.
Okay, well that's
That's what
a
I'm
whole
saying.
lot-
That's the only dead
Right.
steelhead
They're not
you'll
doing-
ever see.
They're not doing
It's put
nutrient.
there.
They're not
It's put
doing
there.
right, but they're not doing nutrient enhancement in this river basin that I'm speaking of in
Right.
particular with these
Right.
numbers. They don't do.
I say that as
especially
a
with
joke.
steelhead.
I say
Yeah,
that
yeah,
as a
yeah.
joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're
When-
probably hatchery morts or
That's
something.
what they are.
too,
Yeah, they're fish that they've already spawned at the hatchery. They throw them back in the river for nutrients.
So it's a bunch of crap. Let's
Yeah.
just be honest. It's just a bunch of crap. But at the end of the day, we, like I said, treat them like glass. I mean, it's super important. And at the end of the day, sometimes you don't get the pictures. But I did see a super chat. Can we go back to that $5 one because he asked about the net, and I go, let's talk about the net because, like I said, I don't know how many people are even watching tonight.
Where is it? Right here.
That's the super chat. Swing it over there, Clint. Swing it over there to the left. Clint, talking to you. Thank you. We got
It's
700.
already there.
No. I wanted to see the numbers. We got over 700 of you guys watching, and so yeah, we figure let's talk about this landing net. One real thing too, I know a lot of you guys in the Midwest. I saw all the Midwest guys like fuck them all. I'm like, okay, different wild steelhead. I get it. Okay, so where it's not legal to do so, that's why we're talking about this. So
And I saw a couple comments too. Yes, in Washington State, it is illegal to completely remove a wild fish from the water. It needs to be in the water of some way, shape, or form when you take your pictures.
and it's really hard to take a picture up on a gravel bank if you
Yep.
don't have waders.
Yep.
Or in a boat
Yep.
if you're trying to abide by that rule.
Yep.
So there you go. Do some math. Okay. But like I said, I'm not gonna begrudge a guy taking a good picture. So let's talk about the landing net.
Absolutely. Talk about it.
It's a cool landing net. See you guys. So a couple of years ago, there was some guys. I mean, do you want to go like history on this thing, or do you even wanna- Yeah.
Lonnie was the first one to get
Yeah. So Lonnie, our buddy Lonnie, was using some of these landing nets that he was getting from Canada.
Mhm.
And they were for muskie, right? They weren't even.
No, they were steelhead.
They were for steelhead.
Yeah.
For the fly guys,
I think so.
or
yeah.
for like the BC guys.
Yep,
Okay.
BC
that's where they
steelhead
came.
guys.
BC steelhead guys. Got it. So it kind of came from down there. Guys landing their catch, wanted something compact, wanted to be able to pack it up in the streams, catch the fish, cradle the fish, get a good photo, let it go. Just basically
Yeah.
safe handling practices all around. honestly.
Exactly, and we saw a lot of that in Canada, but so Lonnie buys one, but it ended up costing. I mean, it was $360.
Yes, Joaquin.
Yeah, it was $360 something by the time he paid custom fees and all this stuff to get it from Canada, and we were looking everywhere trying to find one in the U.S. and no one made one. You could get like a 60-inch muskie net from Fraybill, but you couldn't find anything.
And the muskie nets, for the most part, a lot of times had the old nylon knotted nets. And so they were nets that were just fine for muskie and pike, but they weren't necessarily probably the best thing to be using for steelhead.
Exactly. And so we ventured out to try to figure out how to make our own. We had some huge help from Jacob Tooley. You know who you are out there. Appreciate you, buddy. And now we have a new guy that's helping us make these, who's also killing it and helping us create them. They're all handmade, completely hand carved, completely every single thing about them except the measuring tape and the logo, which is lasered on there. Everything is hand cut, handmade, hand sanded. Even the net is hand sewn right here in Oregon.
But with that said, so everything is super quality, because at the end of the day, you're going to, hopefully in a perfect world, we're going to put a 20-pound steelhead in this every time.
Exactly.
And if you use a shoddy net and you use shoddy components, shoddy stitching, everyone knows the power of a big steelhead, especially if you do this right and the fish is rested in the net for a little bit and he gets a little jumpy.
Yep.
He can go right through the net. So, cradle net, guys, basically the whole principle and the whole point of it, I'll show you guys here on this thing. It's got one side, as you guys can see, like right below my chin. There's one end that's blocked off and one end that's open. Now, thank you. Now, one thing I will say, and I want to say this right now, is using this net is not easy.
No.
So before anybody goes, well, that's a stupid way to net a fish, it's more difficult. We have never said once in any of our lives that landing a fish with this net is easier, more efficient, we do think it's better. But as far as the actual act of landing fish, better than a hoop net.
No.
Because it's not.
The point of it, guys, is you can see, so it's made to cradle the fish. What happens, this is a knotless nylon netting. So super good on the fish, doesn't hurt them at all, doesn't take their slime off. Great net to put on the fish. What happens is when you can see there's two weights on the front of the net here. And so what you want to do is you want to have your buddy, basically, whoever you're fishing with, guide the steelhead into the net. So you don't want the guy who's got the net to try to scoop the steelhead. You can see there's two weights on the front. You want to basically sink the two weights into the water and then let your buddy pull the steelhead into the net, drag it into the net, and then you're going to close it. And what you're going to find the second you close that net is I don't know what it does. I don't know if the fish feels like he can't move. Like, I don't know if he feels like he's imprisoned or what happens, but for some reason it completely calms him down. He completely with the fish having to be straight, they'll like push into, usually right in nose in, and the second, like you said, I think that fish feels it come around, feels it on his fins, he stops. The other thing about this net, they do their couple little wiggles and then they're done.
The hoop net is they're not corked, like completely pinned at an angle, right? So the fish can just like lay there. Then what you can do is really easily orient the head of the fish upstream and give it some recovery time.
Yep.
Right? I mean, as long as that fish is in the water, and like as far as like being a guide goes, like being able to put that fish in there, getting its head up in the water, have the client, pop the line, get the hook out, do what I need to do. Fish is still completely submerged. Have the client hold the net, and then I'll go get my camera, get my phone out, do whatever I need to do. But like that fish isn't sitting there corked, getting drug into the current. It's recovering. Like it's good.
It's resting. Super good for it.
It just fought you. It's good for the fish. So when that
a lot of the broodstock programs around Oregon are using them.
Yeah. No, I mean it's absolutely, because there's. I mean,
You can do it by yourself too. I put fish in mine by myself all the time. I have GoPro footage.
Do some what? Well, yeah, do some. What Charles is saying is that you can do it by yourself, but do some. Yeah, Joaquin knows it fits two fish great.
Yeah, that's right. It does.
Might have been a few doubles in them.
There is a measuring tape on the inside of the handle. We have a measuring tape on the inside of the handle measured out to 42 inches, so you can measure the fish while it's in the net. We also did this little notch here. And again, you can only do this if you're in a state where you can remove the fish from the water quickly. But this is a notch basically for a digital scale. So you can put a digital scale in here. You can weigh your net beforehand, know what the net weighs, pick it up really quick, weigh your steelhead, drop it back in, and you'll know what your steelhead actually weighed, a correct measurement of it. So just a couple little extra added things that we added to it.
What I'll generally do is like have the client hold the fish or hold the net closed. So the head's pointing this way. I'll hold one side, he'll hold the other. Hold the other. And then you grab the tail, so hold it with your other hand. Pretend. Now you reach in and grab the tail. Grab my phone. Ready? cradle the fish. This floats, so you're gonna then pull the fish under the belly, bing, let him go. And it's like it seems like a pretty, I don't know, weird process, but it seems to work really, really, really well.
It does.
No, it works super well. That's the other thing is it gets, when you're trying to get a picture with a new angler or if you're a fishing guide out there, these nets are a huge, valuable tool. I actually know a couple guys that use hoop nets to actually like net the fish, and then they transfer it into the landing net, let the fish recover, get rested, then they let it go, take their pictures, just because it's easier.
That probably wouldn't be bad, especially if you're having to net.
A lot of times it's guys in the boat. Yep.
Right, because that's the other thing.
Yep.
Trying to do this from the boat, yeah, good luck.
Yes, we're gonna work on the legendary 48-incher soon. We're working on it.
Oh God.
We're gonna get one going
That's
for
right,
Cam, a
that's
48-inch legend
Yep,
status
that's right.
net.
Big one.
For Chinook.
Where can you get
I mean, I'm
those
used to
things?
handling
Do you
a
have
big
wait
one.
till the sportsman show?
What's that?
Where can you get those things? Do you have to wait till the sportsman?
No, we keep them in stock now, thanks to Clint. I saw someone say Clint's the most valuable member of Addicted. I'm starting to believe that he is, guys. Really, I really
Started
am.
believing Clint again.
So we do have some of these on our website.
Yeah.
Again, they're not cheap, guys, because they are handmade, but you can buy them on our website. It'll help you take care of wild steelhead, and we would appreciate the support if you want to get a couple of them. They are on our website, so addicted.fishing if you want to get one. And I see a bunch of you guys saying that we should give one away, so what I'm going to do is for the last prize of the night tonight, the very, very last person that we pick, we're going to give away a landing net.
What?
Why are you getting all breathy?
Let's just say, guys, it is.
They're not cheap.
Our cost is well over $100.
We don't make
well over it.
We don't make a bunch of money on these landing nets. The purpose of making these and selling these is not so we can make a ton of money. It's to educate people and try to get people to learn to take care of wild steelhead and handle
Cameron's
them
like
correctly.
the wife over here. He's told me you're not supposed to spend that money this month.
Right. Well, that's what it is. So
Hey,
then,
Cameron,
but then it's
I
like,
love it.
We don't have any money.
it's like, give it away. It's fine. I mean, whatever. It's all good. It's all good
People
for
are
the
going to love
It's
this.
all good for the cause.
Regardless, we're gonna pick someone at the end of the night.
Someone
to win
has to be the responsible
Exactly.
one. Jordan.
I'm
Someone
not-
has to be
it's
the
not me.
responsible one.
It's not the one in the middle here.
I see a lot of you guys saying largest super chat wins. I wish I could do that, but we can't, guys. Sorry.
It could help your odds, though. Just kidding.
So
Just
we
kidding.
kind of
Just
started. So we started talking about it a little bit. I don't change my tactics necessarily. The biggest steelhead I ever caught on camera was on a 6 mil bead. All the biggest fish I ever caught was on a worm, and I fish the same way all the time, no matter what. I feel like I might change location or not even still. I think we all fish our favorite places, and a lot of them have hatchery and wild fish, other than some. Like if we're gonna drive hours, like you guys have, like we've all done. But I don't necessarily change my tactics much. Not even so much my line. I know, Marlon, you do.
I change
a lot of times, like when you go to specific areas to look for them, you're rocking 20-pound leader.
Yeah,
15 to 20.
Yep. A lot of times I bump up to. I definitely leader is a huge thing. I change almost every time.
Yeah.
Stop with the 12s.
Yep.
Okay.
Right, and I was just gonna say, like hatchery season, if you do much of it, it's 12-pound bead leaders. When we're going up and
Fishing the OP.
fishing the OP, and we're targeting those big fish, it's 20-pound, and it ain't messing around.
Yeah.
I mean, and like I said, we just don't want to get.
It kind of brings that age-old dispute. People. I'd rather catch less fish, but be able to handle the big one that I get.
Right.
With that 20-pound, rather than downsize line, which might be necessary in a lot of cases, and catch more fish throughout that day, but get your butt whooped.
I have
and
found
broken off by the
in
biggest
most
fish.
scenarios a 20-pound fluorocarbon, damn near every fish will bite it. It's not that they're afraid of the line. I think in scenarios where a 12-pound works better or a 15-pound or smaller, it's because the presentation and the technique you're using, you have to have that lighter line.
Yep. Where with our worms or jigs, they're straight
They're
down.
vertical, and I don't. When a steelhead, I just
Which
don't.
the heavier line could help in that case, because that line sinks more.
And most of these
Hands
green steelhead rivers and stuff that we're fishing, I have a hard time believing that a steelhead sees 20-pound fluorocarbon.
The only thing that I would make sure.
Black out your fluorocarbon with a Sharpie.
No. When you're talking steelhead, though, like there are those times like where you have like summer light conditions and stuff like that, but generally too, what happens.
I caught one of my biggest steelhead on 25-pound Maxima Ultra Green
Yeah.
when it was like sunny as hell out.
Where'd you catch it?
What do you mean?
In
a river?
What kind of
What do
water
you
did
mean?
catch it in? Glassy tail out or a riffle?
In the middle. In the hole where every, like, not
Neither
every, but a
of
lot
them.
of giant fish came out of with the lines over the top. Literally. And I hooked 4 fish that day.
Was it a worm?
What?
Was it a worm?
Yeah, it was a worm.
The other thing, like, you have a worm. I don't think you're ever doing. I mean, worm is never a subtle presentation. Like, you get a steelhead that wants to bite a worm, he'll swim 20 feet.
So
over the
one
top.
time, let me just tell you the story. So I went down. I used to be this guy that was like 6 pound this, 8 pound this, super light line, right?
Drifting eggs.
And I was fishing this hole this one day, and I hook this fish, and it was giant. I don't know how big it was. We can't speculate or whatever. I never actually like got the thing and touched it, but I had it in front of me 2 or 3 times. It was on 8 pound leader, and it broke me off like right at the bank, and I was like just super depressed. I was like, you know what, I'm going home. I had to go to work at this point, I think. And so I got up, I start walking the bank, and this guy that from high school that I like didn't get along with that well, I like didn't like this dude, and you know, he comes over, he's like, what's going on, dude? I'm like, hey man, I'm like, I just lost a giant. Yeah, I just lost a giant, and he's like, "What? How'd you lose?" I'm like, "It broke off. I was using 8 pound leader." He's like, "The hell are you using 8 pound leader for? These fish don't give a shit about the line." He's like, "I fish 25 pound all the time." And I was looking at him thinking, man, this guy's he was a good steelhead fisherman. I knew he caught a lot of fish, and so from that day forward, I started fishing way heavier lines, and I never thought it made that big a difference, except in scenarios where you need to use it for presentation. But it could just be all in my head. Maybe I do need to downsize. But I feel like I catch a decent amount of fish using 20 pound all the time.
Well, at the end of the day, you can use that 6 pound all you want, but you're never going to get the fish anyways.
Exactly.
So it's like, I mean,
a big one.
right.
Yeah. Or you go back to like what you said, where it's like not good for the fish. Because if you're using 6 pound and you hook a mid 20 steelhead on 6 pound leader, you're fighting it for 20 minutes.
Right.
Plus, yeah.
Now you're a fly guy with a higher mortality rate.
Yep. Now you're fishing with a 8 pound tippet.
Swing the reds.
Yeah. Let's not talk about where you hook most of the ones fly fishing. Anyways, yeah. Biggest steelhead, 22.3 pounds on 10 pound Maxima Ultra Green and a 10 pound fluoro leader. Yeah, 10 pound. You get done 10 pound.
Yep.
It always depends. Some of it depends on the brand too. The brand of line, the you know, like a 10 pound.
Maxima is a very stretchy line.
Maxima is a
Very stretchy.
It's a strong line, and also the P line CXX, like that stuff's freaking gnarly. A lot of the fluorocarbons, even nowadays, some of the fluorocarbons are so strong.
Yeah.
Like the new tough line stuff, the XS or whatever the X, they have
XD.
2 models. Yeah, XD, like the heavier version.
SX, you're right.
There's 2. There's an XS, and then I think there's a.
I'm
Regardless, there's 2
XS.
fluorocarbons that tough line release now, and they're just both so strong. Like you don't. The lines are so different nowadays. So. But when you go down to like a 12 and stuff, I mean, dude, it breaks. It breaks when you are fishing
especially
20.
fluorocarbons 15 years ago.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Now what?
I
now
still
you've
remember
got
the
to figure
first
it out.
one. I tried to tie a knot, and I'm like, what the hell? It got all squiggly and all weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the technology nowadays for sure in line is advanced a million times.
So,
It's super cool.
Total sidetrack. 2 big fish catching techniques. What are
Go.
the 2 biggest fish techniques you think?
I mean, worms have to be number 1.
You think number 1
I would
over
think.
hardware?
I would, yeah.
I want
Just
to say
because
the
more.
red
I mean,
jig.
think about how many. I mean, let's just take like the social media landscape for example. Think about how many pictures you see every year from those guys in the Olympic Peninsula with giant worms hanging out of those fish's mouths. I mean, damn near every picture those guys post, there's a freaking worm in those fish's mouth.
Yeah.
And maybe just because that's what all of them are fishing, but it definitely has, even on a lot of the rivers that we go fish all over the place, like it seems like when a big fish is caught, it's on a worm.
Yeah. My biggest one last year came on a worm.
Yeah.
But my biggest one ever came on a small bead, but I think that was very situational.
Yeah.
I think that was very rare for those of you out there who like to fish beads and are going to try to catch big fish.
What
Plus,
was that big one on that you caught last year? Red
Let's
jig?
say red sink it.
I was
Yeah,
going to
for
say,
some reason, I don't know
jigs
what it
get
is.
big fish as well.
Well, also, dude, red and white.
And I can tell you too, that water was absolutely low. I mean, the whole last season season was just super low and clear, And
but there's something
it's still
about
been
a red
15
and
it's still
white
been 15
jig.
pound floor.
Dude, I don't know what it is,
That's why I asked the question. I was like,
the red and white
trying
sink.
to weigh those
You were
two.
trying to get me to say it
What do you want to show people?
because I've caught a lot of my big fish on red and white.
No, not a clear worm.
Not a clear worm. No, not the skookum worm.
There's a $50 super chat.
I saw another one real fast. Gunner, that is awesome. They put those steel on the lake. Go catch them. Appreciate the super chat, guys. And then also, Marlon, come up with some scenery artwork showing a couple fishermen netting a steelhead with the addicted landing net. Offer them on t-shirts and sweatshirts. They will
That'd
sell.
be cool.
Plus, they help the spread the word. That is a really good thought, Jake Alvin. And thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you for the idea. Little spring drop action.
The other day I've had a client fish that jig. It was the first one I've ever had really come apart. But there was there was a chunk of fuzz left. It got eaten so many times. There was nothing left of it, and it was the last pass of the day. And she swung the jig over to me I was putting some shrimp on it, and I look at it and I'm like, almost felt bad. I thought to myself,
You see one of them.
I should probably change this. And I said, heck with it. I put a chunk of prawn on. She made one more cast to the tail out and hooked this beautiful steelhead on a prawn receptacle.
Prawn doesn't work.
It was like just a tiny little piece of the fuzz still there. It was great. It got eaten to death.
Marlon has me hooked on this jig.
Dude, I've had some, and even just some super really good anglers that I know, like, will message me and be like, dude, the red and white sink it jig is fire.
I
Like,
never caught fish with jigs until I met you, until you showed me that, and I'm stuck on that. Like, that works for me all the time.
yeah, dude.
The peach head.
Those have been that. So again, I don't know, for some reason the red and white, new comments, Clint. The red and white jig
I haven't
smashes.
been able to have one of those. I haven't had one of those in my bag yet this year. That's why I haven't been fishing it.
Holden says, would you guys consider guiding the company into American-made label? Would you also be interested in sponsoring people? Holden, appreciate the super chat, dude. I don't know that we're going to be sponsoring anyone anytime soon. We still have a lot of growing to do on our own end and a lot of things to learn before we're ever able to do something like that. But I appreciate the consolation. As far as getting stuff made in America, we do have a lot of stuff that we make in the USA. You know, we work with Mustad, so we can't really dictate where they make a lot of the products. And honestly, we're working the best we can to try to make quality a really important factor when we're making these products. So I don't know that we'll ever do everything in America, but we definitely are. We try to make an effort to make a lot of stuff in the USA. You know, I'm a proud supporter of America, but at the end of the day, every single fishing company in the entire
how
industry.
many employees actually work for Mustad?
Mustad Americas has hundreds of employees. So, yeah, a lot of these companies that do source stuff overseas. The fact of the matter is every fishing company in the entire industry does it. And if you want to compete with them and be able to sell things at a price that's going to sell at the store, you're kind of backed into a corner on a lot of that stuff. So. And no, Daniel Nunez, we do not make anything in China. Not one of our products at all is made in China. But appreciate that, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Why you laughing, dude?
Me?
Oh. We don't make no China stuff.
I wouldn't laugh
That's
about
true.
that.
Nothing.
You're getting mad. You can get mad for me.
Red and black works good also. No, it doesn't. Nightmares don't work.
Dude, I'm telling you, I thought that nightmare thing was all just
Quarter ounce,
people
but-
using it, and that's why it works so good. But I swear, there's something to that jig.
Yeah, here.
I got it.
Side cam. Red and black. Red and black. That one works really good in super clear water.
I hear that's a really good summer steelhead.
Jim Bradbury.
Who'd you hear that from?
Red, yeah, see? Yeah, red. See, red is pretty...
Good luck finding that one during summer steelhead season.
Yeah, right. Right.
I have got quite a few winners on that one this year too.
Taking these home.
My jig game's elevated. Been a good jig bite.
Yeah.
And the
we have-
nice
So,
part
what
of
else?
let me talk about
real
this.
fast. Do we have red and whites on the website?
No, I just tried to order them.
We're sold out?
Yeah, that's what it said.
Hang on.
Huh?
Oh, shit.
I didn't know we were sold out, dude. We do have a bunch of Seekit jigs on the website, though. Tons. I don't know what colors, but...
But I will say, along the same lines is what we were kind of talking about, the two different methods that I think are the best. Another big part of it, and why I have clients fish jigs and worms and stuff a lot other than they work so good, is the fact of being able to keep a fish on that presentation. As far as on the hook.
Yeah.
You have a big fixed hook. You have a larger than average hook that you're getting away with.
Now that you've said that, the next 5 fish you hook on a jig, you're losing.
I've been testing fate on this one all week. People ask why we're using what we're using, and I tell them because you probably won't lose a fish if you use that.
Red and black.
But
Red and black is good.
Yeah.
but no red and whites.
So we do have Sink It jigs on the website, guys, if you guys want to go purchase them.
All black. That's cool.
So we got, this is another big fish lure right here. If you guys, if you guys want to get into trying to chase big fish, I have caught a lot of really big fish on spoons. It seems like it gathers a really aggressive bite from those big, mean bucks.
It's not out yet, but there was even a story where you and I we went up fishing and filming for you guys, and we're on the struggle bus all day and fishing jigs, fishing worms, and working just insanely beautiful water and nothing going on. And
the only 2 fish we hooked were on spoons.
Yeah, I was going to say the only 2 fish we hooked were on spoons behind presentations that had already gone through there. So they do have their time and place. They do have their water that they'll work well, especially if you have a situation where maybe there's pressure, maybe that they've seen every jig and worm and bead known to man and from every company go by them.
Go to side cam.
And then you go through the spoon and it just pisses them off.
So it's good to have. So I like to have a pretty good selection of spoons here. I got my blues, my nickels, my golds, my whites, my coppers. I also have quite a few different sizes. I'll fish a lot of the 2/3. I like a lot of the 2/5. Don't sleep on black spoons. They work really, really good. Also, this white silver works extremely well. Throws out a lot of flash. So I like to have a good selection, and then I will always rig up my spoons. I've talked about this a lot before. I always rig up my spoons this way with basically a 1/0 or a 2/0 Siwash hook to a size 5 barrel swivel, size 5 split ring, size 5 split ring, size 5 barrel swivel. So that's kind of how I rig them up. This one's stacked. So this is 2 1/4-ounce spoons stacked on top of each other just to get the right weight that I wanted. Give a little extra chatter out there in the water. But yeah, good to have a good, definitely good selection of colors just for the different water conditions that you're fishing. For sure.
Some chatter.
Some chatter. And we also have, what?
What are those brown paper ones, or what is that? Is that secret? Is that top secret?
No, they're just extras. They're wrapped. Each one of them's like real plated, so they're wrapped so they don't get all scratched up and messed up.
Varnished.
Yeah, varnished, exactly.
Mine rotted out. That's a good call because I did that last year, and my tackle box, all my spoons got all messed up.
They fish better that way.
Tasty.
Yeah, they like the smell of the rust.
Yeah.
The oxides off the rust stimulate a bite.
Speaking of tackle boxes,
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So yeah, and I actually just did a spoon fishing video. So if you guys want to learn a little bit about spoon fishing, I did a little video on the YouTube channel just showing kind of the basics of how to get started. But if you really want to learn, go get the Bill Herzog spoon fishing books. One of the books that I've read a few different times. It's an amazing book. It'll teach you a lot about spoon fishing. So you should be able to get that on Amato Publications.
Sold out. I'll have to hunt them down on Amazon.
Yeah,
Hunt
or
'em down on
Amazon or
Amazon.
eBay or
There's
something
other
like that.
Bill Herzog books.
Yeah.
There's other ones that are color guide to fishing.
That's a classic, though.
It's one of the best spoon books ever.
Time for some addicted spoons. I think so, but
We'll see, guys.
I think so in rigged certain ways.
Okay, what else we got here?
Well, we're pretty near.
Pretty near. It's 8:15. How many
We've
people?
covered a lot.
How many people we still got watching here? Clint, almost 800 of you. There's a lot of people watching still wanting to talk about wild steelhead.
Yeah, get them to get it to 1,000 for the net.
The net's already getting given away. Get it to 1,000, I'll give away 2 nets.
Shut up.
Oh my god.
He's out of control.
You get a net. You get a net. You get a net. You get a car. You get a car. You get a car.
You're a snagger. You're a snagger.
What else? What else? Any other? How about spinners, Jordan? You ever hook any really big fish on spinners?
I do. You know, it kind of goes along with that plug bite. Actually, Cameron, one of the biggest fish I've hooked this year, Cameron watched me He's standing up on the bank watching us sight fishing a big fish.
Right.
That was awesome. I really wish we could have recorded that, but I'm glad we didn't because it kind of harnesses that moment a little bit more. But this fish, we'd worked a jig by it a few times. Cameron tried to get a float presentation to it. He spooked.
It ran from it.
Yep.
It didn't spook from it.
It tried to eat Cameron. It came over, swam between his legs, kicked him, made him fall
I walked.
over.
Oh, hold on. We gotta tell it right because I'll want to tell it from my angle watching that fish. When you casted at it, you saw the fish sitting in there. I had a bar presentation. I went downstream of it. We knew where it was. Casted upstream. First cast goes through there. That fish. I mean, and I threw it 20 feet in front of it. Bailed out of there. The fish doesn't know where I'm at though, so it swims by and literally goes in between my legs and sits right there in gin clear water, and it's like, it's a stud.
Yeah,
it's a stud fish. And so I'm sitting there like trying not to move, and I move my rod like this, and I like dip the worm in the water right in front of the fish. He wasn't having it. He shoots back off and goes back to the log.
Maybe you should have made a better cast.
I probably should have made a better cast. I thought the cast was pretty good, but
anyways, about the spinner. So the fish didn't necessarily want to kill. Go ahead.
Well, as I said, but the fish went back, and obviously, like, okay, he's not having it. So I bail out, and Jordan's got the spinner, and freaking spinner Jordan, right? Goes up. I walk up on the bank, so I'm watching above. Jordan goes down below, and like first cast, it moves at it. Like you were downward angled, you put it right on the stump. The fish like moved at it, and it was just, but it didn't blow him out of the hole or anything. And he went right back. He had a hen in there too.
Yeah,
and
you could tell he was defensive.
He didn't want to go anywhere. And the next cast, like he throws it in there, it like touches the water, and that fish opens his mouth, and I'm watching of it from up above on this cliff. I mean, and it clamped that spinner, and to see the fish react, and I will just, despite what you said, I thought it was a really good cast and a really good presentation. It was only in about that much water though. So I didn't know if maybe that fluorescent bobber was a little too close. This fish might have seen some pressure over some of the other days too. So who knows, right? But man, the reaction of like, hell no, running away from it, not touching it, to when Jordan like pitches that spinner in there and it just annihilates it.
The thing about it too is like my point with the whole situation was I made him bite that spinner. He was aggressive. He's a defensive animal. And the presentation that required him to bite and chase, he didn't want anything to do with. He was distracted with the hen and the pool he was in. He was a big dominant buck. You were chasing each other around. And the first two casts, I was like, the first one I went by him, and Cam's like, oh, he's moved. And I'm like, oh, we're all excited. But the third cast was like, it was like a gnat's ass, just right in the spot, got it moving, and that fish just went like this. And grabbed it. And he wouldn't have bit. We wouldn't have really got him to bite anything else, but using that hardware presentation, whether it was a spoon or a spinner, putting it right in front of a fish, you don't have to be able to see the fish.
So you guys were casting upriver on him.
Yeah, because or else we would have seen him.
Yeah,
they would have seen us. But my point is that whether or not you can see that fish or not, if you can put hardware in front of big fish, a lot of times they won't be. They're so territorial. These are breeding animals. It's just like a big bull and rut. He's chasing everything around. You see those fish on a lot of the rivers where they're spawning. They got half their tails ripped off. We actually were watching them fight each other that day. I was blown away by how hard. I mean, like you could almost feel how these fish hitting each other, like wham, and they grab the tail and they thrash. So they're aggressive. But using that hardware presentation alongside, it's something that you can clean up a hole with. When I mean clean up is use last. And essentially get fish to bite sometimes, like make them bite.
Super reluctant on biting any drifted deer.
Yeah. I think if you're going to fish for wild steelhead, and you're looking for a trophy, what?
Nothing.
To the moon, Led Zeppelin.
More big fish from the bank or a raft or a drift boat or what?
Do we catch more?
Yeah, where do you catch more big
Why don't you guys use jigging assist hooks on the spoons? They don't snag and offer a good hookups and cast upstream and jig it along the seam. Jigging assist. Is that like braided line?
It's the one that sits on the front of the spoon. It's for vertical stuff, I'm assuming.
Right.
I would think it would
like
probably kill the action a little bit.
The mustache jigs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so I think it might, I don't know.
That's more for I feel like that presentation is more for, because we all know when we're out there doing that and you miss a fish rock fishing, it comes back tangled because they hit the head of it and they wrap that line in half and the hook gets caught on your line and you bring it back up. So I understand that,
The
but
types of spoons are just a little bit different, though. Like, that's all for. I don't know, it's intriguing, though. It might be worth a cast.
Cam, what is your thoughts on the movie Artificial?
propaganda.
Absolute freaking joke, because the whole movie itself did no due diligence in their research at all whatsoever by claiming that farmed fish and hatchery fish and everything were all the same. And anybody worth their salt and understood anything about fish politicking in the Northwest would also realize that not all hatchery fish are the same. You have different stocks and different strategies within those hatchery fish. And I really would love to point out about the movie Artificial is that they forget that many wild runs and hatchery runs across the Northwest have came back because of the hatchery apparatus, not because of them. It just was just such a shame that the movie Artificial came out the same year that pretty much the orca study task force got done and rolled up and said, if we don't basically put 50 million hatchery fish in the water, you were going to starve and lose all your southern resident killer orcas. And it was also the same year that the Clackamas study came out, which basically said that what they did on that river for the last 20 years was absolute bullshit and it got them nothing. So, bad timing for Artificial, but it's a joke of a movie.
Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. So, Matthew Heaveden says, do you like a slow retrieve or a fast retrieve with a spoon? I definitely like a slow retrieve. If you get that spoon moving too quick, it'll start rolling over on itself, and it's not going to fish as effectively. So, the type of spoons that we fish, you definitely want to.
Have you ever really got a fish on the spoon other than a coho on a spoon just swinging in a circle like that?
No.
Me neither. Never. And hardly ever even with spinners. I find that a lot. Ed Fast, a good friend of mine, told me about this, or kind of hinted on it. I'd always fished, spinners the way I felt like it was fishing properly. But the way he explained it was when that blade is spinning slower at a slower RPM, it puts off more light because it has more time to grab that light. And given the shade or color of your spinner blade, it has more time to get that light reflection off of that blade as it spins slower than that super rapid, quick spin that puts off all that vibration. So having a slower spin or almost no spin, like very slow repetitions as it goes through a hole is much more bite prone than having a spinner where you're just casting and retrieving like you're fishing for trout. So a big part of that is the speed of that presentation.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah. One day we and him were on the East Side River and we're fishing this boily, roily, just garbage hole. And I cast it up and I just drug that spinner all the way down through there. That was the only fish we got that day.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Drift fishing it.
And actually that day, so that was when we banked it, right? Yeah, and then that other day when we floated it, the only two fish we hooked were because we were basically dragging them along the bottom.
Yeah.
The water's super
that white silver.
Yeah, that white silver smashes. Well, I think we need to pick our last winner.
Let's pick our winner. It's been let's start sharing those while we pick a winner. Did anybody send them in today, or are these all old? My client today was really excited about sending these in. He might not have done it either. He had a long drive, so we can get him next week. They got their first steelheads ever today. It was great.
That's awesome.
Oh, look who it is! Heck yeah, man! Griffin with a beautiful steelhead. Good job, buddy.
Nice fish, Griffin.
Hope you're having fun up there. Ooh, that's a pretty looking steelhead.
That is really cool.
Looks like a Great Lakes fish. That's
really
a Great Lakes fish.
Awesome fish, man. I can't wait to put my hands on a Great Lakes fish.
I know. It's pretty exciting.
T-.
Just kidding.
Bonking wilds. We should store up a ton of photos of all these dead wilds and just post them.
Oh,
it's
God.
3 years and just free.
Not keeping one
Look
fish
at
when I go over there.
nuckies.
Oh, those are nice.
Giants.
I'm excited to kill. I'm excited to put a springer on my Green Mountain.
Oh, God.
So close.
I can't wait to throw my smoke on.
The first one's caught. It's time to go.
One.
Sturgeon.
Nice. Gotta love sturgeon fishing. I've been seeing a lot of people getting out there catch and release winter sturgeon fishing.
Why not?
Super fun.
I'm one blowout away from doing it. I don't know if we're gonna get it. Well, we got some kayaks coming.
I'm one blowout away.
And I'm excited to go get towed around on one of those bad boys.
That's gonna be so fun.
I can't wait. Especially right where we were at, man.
Yeah, how many of you addicts out there want to see us go do some kayak fishing? How many of you addicts out there want us to jump in the kayaks and chase some fish out of some kayaks?
Look at Chrome Candy got chomped.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Heck yeah, man.
Nice fish,
That's
dude.
Steve.
Nice fish, Steve.
Beautiful. Chrome candy.
This
Ooh,
one.
is that another one of our
I still
worms?
haven't got to fish it.
What's in that fish's mouth?
Hard to say.
Or telling that one.
It's a worm.
It's a worm. It's a worm.
Nice fish, man. Thanks for sharing it with us. Who's this, Clint?
No name.
No name, but that is a purple back.
King time.
Yes.
I'm over steelhead season.
Screw that.
This is
All in good time. All in due time.
Yep.
Andy.
Nice fish, Andy. What a pretty
What a
color on that thing.
snake.
I love the freaking.
Look how long it is.
Yeah, super long. I love when their cheeks get like that. Awesome fish, man. Thanks for sharing that.
Okay, last one. How did you say this? Shaden?
Shaden with another little chunker.
A little jaw on him.
Yeah, a little kipe on the end of him.
Mean mugger.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing
Super
your
cool.
pictures. If you guys want to have your pictures featured in the live feed every week, just shoot us an email to orders@addicted.fishing. Make sure you include your pictures, and we'll try to share them every week for you guys. Thanks for sending them in. Also, don't forget, tag us on Instagram. Put us in your Instagram stories so we can share it to our story. You guys have been doing all your catches of our worms and jigs and winter chrome kits and all that stuff. So keep doing that on Instagram for me, and we'll share them onto our story for you guys. Okay, Clint.
Any comments?
Yep, just pick a comment from the live feed. People have been here hanging out with us. Hopefully they stuck around and they're about to win a landing net. Who's it gonna be?
No way.
Joaquin.
You lucky
you.
dog.
Who is that? You know him?
I do know him. He's a great client of mine.
Joaquin. Joaquin, you won yourself an
That's
addicted
awesome, dude.
landing
No,
net.
I'll just take that. I think he's coming fishing with me here in just a little bit.
Nice. Joaquin,
Dude.
you won yourself an addicted landing net. Please shoot us an email to orders@addicted.fishing. Make
That
sure you
is
include.
dope.
Actually, you don't need to include your name or address because
Don't.
apparently Cameron's going to
I'll
deliver
get
it
it
to you.
for you, man. That is sick. That is cool.
Congrats, Joaquin, and we'll try to give away another landing net before Wild Steelhead season's over. How about that, guys? Sometime before the
That is
season
cool.
is over, we will try to pick another winner for a landing net. What else we got?
Really,
Anything,
really cool.
anything else we need to talk about, boys?
No, man. Let's go fishing. I got to film for the next 7 days. So if any of you out there got some awesome fishing going on or something great that you think we should come and film, don't hesitate to message the page. We might just have to make a quick trip to you.
That's because there's nothing around here.
Nothing.
Yeah, we're gonna
That's
be
super cool. Yeah.
awesome, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Don't forget, go over to STS, get yourself a subscription to their magazine. Use the code ADDICTED. And yeah, that's all we got.
So we were right.
What?
The assist hook on top.
Attached on the split ring,
Oh, yeah.
and they're independent of the spoon.
Saltwater wisdom, he says. Yeah, we do use some of that stuff in saltwater, don't
Right.
when
But, I
I'm
mean, if
using
you
bottom
attach it to the front of the spoon like they do, I'm just wondering if that's going to screw up from just doing the thumb.
think
And
it
it's
would.
not going to roll over. I think it. I don't know.
I think it'd mess with it.
I'll have to try it.
Matthew, we're going to be filming some stuff for my boat this Friday, so
Yes.
stay tuned. We got some film coming. We got some build stuff coming. I got all my electronics ordered. I got my bow mount trolling motor ordered. So stuff's starting to come together fast. And
Gotta get
hopefully,
the Bassmaster 2000.
yep, the Bassmaster
Whatever.
2000. Hopefully, come April 1st, I can have like 4 dead springers sitting in the bottom of it. And yeah,
April 1st, we're going to have plenty of dead springers before that.
I'm not fishing till April. I got other stuff to do. Steelhead to catch, sheds to find.
Ugh.
I got too many sheds I gotta go out there and get, dude. I'll get springers when they're actually in the river and it's worth fishing for, not when you're looking for a unicorn. Or when I start seeing you post them like every
I'm
day.
not going to
It's
post
like,
it now.
March
You guys
25th.
better be fishing below me.
Cam usually starts March 25th, guys. So if you guys want to get out there and get going, March 25th is the day. Appreciate everyone tuning in. We'll see you all on the river.
Later, guys.